The kitchen is closed. Posted by Unknown Comet 73. Had this couple come in exactly 30 seconds before we locked the doors. They walked by me, sat down at the bar, and immediately asked where the bartender was because they were starving. I let them know that unfortunately we were closing up for the night and the kitchen had already closed, but I'd still be happy to make them a round of drinks and close them out if they'd like. You'd have thought I stole the woman's purse. The couple becomes enraged and demands to speak to the manager. I let them know that I was, in fact, the manager for the evening. That wasn't good enough. They want to talk to somebody who knows what's what, since clearly I didn't know ish. I said, great, feel free to come back when it's not my shift and there'll be another manager, but for now, the kitchen is closed. The man keeps asking me why. I just keep repeating, because we close at 8:30, so the kitchen is closed. He keeps asking why. I finally just tell him because the stoves are turned off. At this point, he is screaming at me, calling me every name under the sun. I eventually had to call the police because they refused to leave. Thankfully, they left before the police showed up. I'm not trying to see anyone go to jail over damn fajitas. I will never understand the audacity and stupidity of some people. Don't pull out your gun and don't flirt with underage girls. Posted by Jess Simmons 326. First, on mobile, sorry for formatting, writing this on my break at work right now. So I was serving, and I got sat at two-top of these two guys. They seemed nice, normal. They were complaining about how hot it was, and I said they were welcome to go to the bar if they wanted to be in a cooler area. So I checked, and I told the hostess they wanted to move and ask if I can get reseated again. So they moved to the bar and get drinks and their food. About 10 minutes later, when I peek around to the host stand, one of the guys was at the host stand talking to my teenage coworkers. Only one of our hosts there is over 18. I kind of watched, waiting for a manager to notice and get the guy away from them since he was obviously flirting with them. Manager goes over and, I assume, asked him to go sit back down at the bar. I heard the guy say, "Well, you're up here talking to them. Why can't I?" No ish, LMAO. It's his job to. So I kind of keep tabs on this as I'm working, and I see the guy wander back up there again. Drink and to-go box in hand. The same manager and a different one go up and tell him to leave the girls alone and leave the restaurant. Somewhere around this time, the guy pulls a gun out, shows it to our young staff at the host stand, and then is escorted outside with his friend. Another woman at the bar tells my manager that he was harassing her as well. So the two guys go outside and eventually the cops show up, taking statements, cuffed them. One of our hostesses is pretty upset and the other's just kind of shaken. Managers go out and give statements, and this lasts about an hour where all the customers are watching what's going on since it's happening right outside the restaurant. I assume they got taken in the cop car. It cleared up after all my managers gave statements, but fudge, I was on edge the rest of my shift. Next one is Customer Freaks Out About a Plate by Gionero6. Exactly what the title says. Got called over by the table. The wife asked me why the entree was on a small plate. I told her that's how the entrees come. Anything with no veggies comes on a smaller plate. And if there was an issue with the portion size, she could always order another one since we are all you can eat. She gets madder and said that it's insulting that it's on a small plate and an entree should come on a round plate. Her husband said to bring a round plate and they'll transfer it themselves. Wife gets madder at the idea, and I asked her if she wanted me to put it on a round plate. She says, I don't know. I go and make her a double portion, put it on a round plate, and brought it back for her. She thanks me, but as I was walking away, she told her husband that she's not going to pay because of the plate issue. She calls the manager over. Manager tells her he's not giving her a free meal because of a plate, and transferred her over to a new server. And they threw away the new entree that I brought for her. This was all because her food didn't come out on a round plate. This is a Karen on a whole other level. And what bothers me is that all that food probably got wasted. For what? For the size of the plate it was on? That's just ridiculous. Magic City BHM had a good reply. Some people literally want things to complain about. She seems like a wonderful human being. It also seems like her husband is often trying to find ways to calm her down and resolve her complaints. Next, we have elderly customer yelling, posted by Rating Pig. So I work as a server in this small coffee place where we mostly serve elderly people. Most of our customers are regulars. So there's this 70-year-old dude who comes in every single day, orders his drink with a glass full of ice cubes. He has sent it back once because there isn't enough ice. Hint, there was more than enough ice. And always tips like horse shite. So he comes as usual, orders his usual drink, and I go serve him. See, we have relatively small tables, and because of his friends already enjoying their drinks, there wasn't enough space on the table for me to comfortably leave his drink. On top of that, he had placed his glasses on the table, occupying the only empty space. So I made the grave mistake of trying to move his glasses. I mean, I could have asked him to pick them up on his own, but I instinctively didn't at that moment. After I touched his glasses, he went amok and started yelling at me. "Why would you ever touch my glasses?" And "What have you done?" While I was repeatedly apologizing, he kept yelling over the span of 2 minutes, shouting, yelling the same thing over and over. "Why would you touch my glasses?" While I was trying to apologize, calm him down, and explain that I made a mistake. Note that I've been wearing glasses for more than 12 years, so I understand where that feeling comes from. But it's not like I left any marks on the lens or broke them, etc. He didn't stop until I literally had to ignore him and just leave the table and do my job. The dude usually stays around for a couple hours before leaving. This time, he left way earlier and left no tip at all. I mean, I knew immediately I shouldn't have tried to move his glasses, but I was just trying to do my job. It was, in my opinion, an honest mistake, and I apologized immediately. He didn't have to yell at me like that. Now, this dude has a history of being a jerk, and I was wondering how to deal with him next time he comes. I'm 100% certain I will have to serve him again tomorrow. He's been a regular for many years before I started working here. He will most likely hold a grudge at me. Is there anything I can do to fix this? So I totally agree with this reply from Acquainted1. Serve him impartially yet coolly, close to coldly without the FU resting witch face. Think poker face. The more you apologize, the more he'll go off on you. Apologize once, then leave him with an, "Excuse me, sir, I'm called in the kitchen." Don't set yourself up for more abuse. We're going to leave off on a happy note with this last one. It's called Winner Winner Roast Dinner, posted by Ms. Grenade Launcher. After seeing a recent post about customers leaving tables covered in a mess, I wanted to share this story about some absolutely lovely customers. The scene. It's Christmas Day 2017. We're fully booked. It's bookings only for 4-course dinner and complimentary champagne. The last seating has passed when a family walks in. Now these guys are some of our regulars. Apart from the usual family, which was husband, wife, and 2 young daughters, 4 years and 2 years old at this point, there are also a few other family members with them. It's an 8-person table. Now, I have never seen a guy look so broken. The second they enter, they start apologizing, as they know it's bookings only. The husband then utters a single sentence that no one wants to hear, especially on Christmas Day. "We had a power cut all morning, and then once the power was back on, the oven broke. You guys are the only place that we knew were open." Every single staff member in the place then proceeds to move heaven and earth to find them a table, high chairs, and kids' coloring books. The kitchen, already incredibly tired and stretched to their max, begin to pile these 8 plates with possibly the biggest roast dinners I've ever seen. The side dishes are just as impressive. But that's just us being nice. It's not really illustrating how nice these people are. So, back to the messy table point. I've mentioned that the family had 2 young children. This, of course, means some mess. We had buttered, minted peas as a side dish, and many of these ended up on the floor. I've never been so touched as to see this 6'4" man who has previously worked as a bouncer and is generally built like a brick house on his hands and knees under a table that he can barely fit under just to pick up the errant vegetables that his children have dropped. He wouldn't even stop after we said it was okay to leave it. They then proceeded to buy a round of drinks for the entire staff and tip around 40%. The table was the cleanest I have ever seen, especially from a party of that size. Edit. Thank you to everyone interacting with this post. It's so lovely to read your comments, and thank you for the awards.